Hi there, this is John Lexo from Pro Tutorials, and in this video I'm going to talk about Google Analytics. And if you don't know, well, this is a tool that you can use so you can analyze the traffic that you receive to one or multiple websites and also to mobile applications. And in this video I'm going to first explain how you can get a Google account so you can start using this tool. Second, how you can install Google Analytics in your website. And third, how you can use this tool so you can better analyze your traffic. Now, why should you use Google Analytics? Well, one of the best reasons for you to use this tool is it's completely free. And even though it's free, it's perhaps one of the best analytical tools that you can find in the market, even compared to other ones that you need to pay so you can use them. The other reason is the huge amount of details that you get about your visitors. For example, you can see if your visitors are coming from Facebook, Twitter, or probably from a post that you wrote for another website. You can also see where visitors reside, if they reside inside of USA, Canada, or another country. Their browser, if they're using desktop, mobile, their screen resolution. It's just crazy the amount of details that you can get from your visitors by using Google Analytics. Now, the downside about using Google Analytics is even though it provides a lot of different information about your visitors, at the same time, it may be quite complicated for you to understand all of this information. So that's the reason why I decided to do this video. By the end of this video, you will have a great understanding about Google Analytics. So without further ado, let's get started. So for you to use Google Analytics, you want to first search for Google Analytics inside of Google search engine or another search engine. Then you will see that it's the first page that you see on this listing. You just want to click on this link, and you actually need to create a Google account if you still don't have one, so you can access your Google Analytics tool. So if you don't have one, in this case I have already several accounts, I need to add a new account. And now, once I go to this page, I just click on the link that says create account. And then I just need to fill this required information over here so I can create a new Google account. So I'm going to quickly fill this with my name. So I'm going to put over here an email and a password. Your date of birth. And also a phone number. Also, you want to choose the right location. Then you just press next step. You read this privacy and terms page, and once you get to the very ending, you can see that this I agree button lights up, and you just press I agree. And now you can see that you need to verify your account, and we'll send a message to your phone number, the one that you used previously. So I'm going to do this really quickly. Okay, so now I have my coding, and I'm just going to fill this required verification code and just press continue. Okay, now I need to check my email inbox. And now I just need to go to this email that I just received and click on this link. And you can see that now I have a Google account and I'm ready to access Google Analytics. So let's go back to Google Analytics page so I can access this tool. Okay, so once you are in this page, you must follow the 3 steps that you can see over here, which is pretty simple. The first one is sign up for Google Analytics. So you just press on this button that says sign up, and you can see that you have 2 tabs. In this case, if you want to get tracking coding for a website, you use the first tab, but if you have a mobile app, then you just pass to the second tab over here on the top. In this case, this is for a website. So account name, I'm going to give a name to my account, Pro Tutorials Testing. Let's say website name, Pro Tutorials. Also the URL of my website, and also industry, Let's see. As you can see, you have several categories which you can choose from. And I'm trying to find mine, which is... Actually, I'm having a hard time finding mine for some reason. It might be this one, jobs and education, let's say that one. And now you want to select reporting time zone. So in this case, Portugal. And you can see that it immediately changes to the right Greenwich Mean Time. Now you might want to data sharing. You might want to check these options over here, depending if you want to share your information in several of these services. And then you just press on Get Tracking ID. You must read this page if you want, and then you just press I accept. In this page, you are giving the tracking ID and also the tracking coding that you can use so you can start tracking the traffic that you receive to your website. Now, if you have a HTML website, you basically need to copy this coding over here. And in each page that you have, you need to paste this coding right before the closure of your head section. Now, if you have a WordPress website or a Blogger website or a Drupal website, you basically have plugins where you just need to paste this ID that you can see over here. And that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to my website, which is this one. And I'm going to install a plugin for this. So I'm going to log into my dashboard. Now in your dashboard area, you want to go to the plugin section and you want to add new. Now you want to search for Google Analytic. Now when it comes to this type of plugins, you have plenty of them that you can choose from. They are pretty much all identical, so it's really up to you the one that you prefer to use. But the one that I'm going to use is, in this case, it's this one, the first one, Google Analytics, and I'm just going to press install now and activate this plugin so I can start using it. Now once this is activated, you can see that you have the plugin appearing in this listing, and you just press on settings. And where you see Google Analytics ID, this is exactly where you need to put this previous ID over here. So you just copy it, paste it in this section. Disable tracking, I of course don't want to do this. Exclude users from tracking by role. So I want to exclude administrator. If you have perhaps authors or contributors or whatever, you might also want to exclude that. Then you just press save settings. And now it will take about 24 hours before it starts tracking the visitors that you receive on a daily basis. In the home section, you can get a quick overview about the traffic that you are receiving in each website that you have. In my case, you can see that I have only one account, and then below I have two websites. I have prositutorials.org and yet I have prositutorials.com. Then right below each property, you can also call this property, you have two different views for prositutorials.org. I have the first view, which is all website data. This means that I will be able to see in this report, as I click over here, in this report that you can see over here, I will be able to see all of the information that I want without being filtered. Then in my testing view, I'm filtering some information. In this case, I'm filtering my own IP. So once I go to my website, that won't be counted inside of my report. And later on, I'm going to show you how you can create views so you can filter the information that you want. Then you can see the sessions that I have. In this case, all website data, 89 sessions, and below only 59 because it's not counting with the times that I go to my website. Then average session duration, this is the amount of time that my visitors spend in average inside of my website. Bounce rate is basically once someone goes to your website and only sees one page inside of your website, that person doesn't have any kind of interaction with your website. That counts as bounce rate. Then goal conversion, in this case I don't have any kind of goal conversion. You can also change the mode to see this, the overview. You can change between two different modes. And now let's talk a bit about accounts and also properties. When it comes to accounts, you can have up to 100 accounts inside of Google Analytics, and for each account that you can have up to 50 different properties or websites. Now, accounts is basically a way for you to organize your websites more easily. For example, in this case, I have an account for Pro Tutorials, and under this account, I have two different websites that are related to Pro Tutorials, such as protutorials.forum.com and another website which is protutorials.blog.com. Then I have a separate account for my White Sox store websites. And you can see that I have whitesox.com and also whitesox.forum.com. Now, the way that you want to organize your websites is really up to you. For example, you can create an account for your business websites and another account for your personal websites. Also, you can include different tracking IDs to each website that you have. For example, I can include a tracking ID for my protutorials.forum.com website and another tracking ID for protutorials.blog.com. Now, what would happen is I would have two separate reports for each website. This allows me to more easily analyze the visitors that I'm receiving to each different website. But for some reason, if you want to have one report for multiple websites, what you would need to do is have the same tracking ID to all of those websites. I showed you previously how you could install that plugin for Google Analytics. Basically, what you would do is install the same plugin in several of your websites and then just include the same tracking ID to each one of those websites. And in the end, you would have just one report for all of those websites. In the administration page, you have plenty of options to manage your accounts, your properties, and also your views. If you want to create a new account, it's pretty simple. You just click on this section where I already have one account. I click on it and I just press on create new account. Same thing with adding new properties. You just click on this section of your property and you can press on create new property. I'm going to show you how you can add a new property. You go to this page and you can select either between website or mobile app. This page is pretty similar to the one that you saw previously when you were following the 3 first steps so you could add a Google Analytics account. Now you just need to choose the name of your website, which is Pro Tutorials. In this case, it's my test website, which is this one. And I'm going to insert below the URL of my website, which is this one. Select industry or category, and let's see if I can find it. Job and education, country, and then you just press on get tracking ID, and it's pretty much the same. You have a similar script. It's pretty much the same thing which you did previously. You need to install the plugin in your website. You grab this tracking ID and insert in the right area of your plugin. Let's go back to administration. If you want to delete a property or an account, which is pretty similar, you need to go to this section and select the property that you want to delete. So let's say that I want to delete this one, which is protutorials.com. This is a website I no longer use. So I select it. I go to property settings, and you can see that you have this button that says move to trash can. You just choose this button, you read this message if you want, and you just press delete property. And now it's sent to the trash can. It will take a while until it's fully deleted. If you want to recover what you just deleted, you go to the trash can under your account, you go to the trash can, and you can see that you have what you just deleted over here. You just check this box and press the restore button. And now once you go to administration, you can see that you have once again the property which you just deleted. The other thing that I also recommend for you to do is for you to connect your properties to your Google console. This way you will be able to see information from your Google console back here inside of Google Analytics. So you just need to select the property that you want. In this case, it's this one, ProSiteTutorials.org, and you go to Property Settings. Once you are inside Property Settings, you scroll down and you can see that you have Search Console, Adjust Search Console. So you just press this button. You're taken to this page, press Edit. Once you are inside of this page, you just press Save, and then you are redirected to your Search Console. That is pretty much all that you need to do. Then you just press Done, and that's all that you need to do. Back to administration. Now, if you would like to give someone the access to the reports belonging either to one account or several accounts, properties, or even a particular view, but at the same time you don't want to give that person any kind of administration options, then what you can do is use the user management. So let's say that I want to give someone access to a report to a particular website that I have. So I just choose the website that I want, let's say ProSiteTutorials.org. I go to user management, and you can see that I already have access. This is my email address. Now I just need to insert over here the email address belonging to that person. Then you select the role that you want to give to this person. So in this case, I'm just going to give the option for that person to read and analyze the report, but you can give other options, but always be more cautious when you choose one of the other options. And also I'm going to send a notification to that person. So add, and you can see that now I have a new email address over here, and eventually I will receive an email to my inbox. Okay, so now I have received the email into my inbox, the notification that I sent to this email address. And now that person, the only thing that person needs to do is they need to go to this link, they click on this link, so they are able to see their report. But in this case, they don't have any option to edit anything inside of your account. They are only able to see the report belonging to a particular website. In this case, I'm not logged out, so the report is not identical to what this person would be able to see. So let's go back to administrator. If you want the information belonging to the searches that people do inside of your website, just like in this case, appearing in your reports, what you need to do for this is you go to the view section and you go to view settings, and you can see that right below you have this option, site search tracking. You just press to activate it. Now it asks for query parameter. So what you do is you go to your website and you search for anything that you want inside of your website. It can be, in this case, YouTube. And you can see that you have this small S over here. So what you do is you just go over here and you put S. It can, sometimes it's an S or it may be a Q, so it really depends. And then you just press Save Changes. And basically that's all that you need to do. Now let's go to administration once again. Now if you would like to filter specific information from appearing inside of your reports, you need to create first a new view for that and then select some filter options. I never recommend for you to add filters into the all website data. I always recommend for you to create first a different view so you can test the new filtering options and see if you want to use them or not. So for that, you just create a new view and you can call it whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to call it testing once again, testing 1, let's say, and I'm going to choose Portugal, and I'm going to create this view. Okay, so now I have a new view, and now I can add any kind of filters I want over here in my testing. So always create a new view before you decide to add any kind of filtering option to all website data or if you want even to create later on a master view where you just add the filters that you want and just keep all website data with any kind of filters. That's also a good idea. So I'm going to select testing and I go to filters, and over here I just click on add filter, create a new filter for this view. So in this case I want to, let's say, no IP. So what I'm going to do is I want to exclude the IP from my computer, so each time I go to my website it won't appear inside of my reports my IP address. And you can do a lot of different filters. There are plenty of things that you can do with this. For example, if you want, you can exclude particular countries from appearing inside of your filters. There are a lot of things that you can do. Filter type, you have predefined, which are the most common filters that people use. And then you have custom, which basically you have a huge range of different filters that you can add to your view. So you really have a lot of different options over here. The one I'm going to choose is one that is pretty simple and one that people commonly always want to use. So I'm going to exclude in this case and select source of destination. I'm going to choose traffic from the IP address. And I just had over here my IP address. I'm actually not sure. This is certainly not my IP address, but it's just an example. And select expression that are equal to. So each time that I go to my website, if this is my IP address, it will be excluded from my report. Now, if you are working inside of a company, then you might want to use that begin with, so you can exclude a range of IPs from appearing inside of your reports later on. Then you just press save, and that's pretty much all that you need to do so you can add a particular filter inside of your view. Now about goals, it's something that I recommend for you to use if you want to track how often people perform specific important actions inside of your website. This can be, for example, subscribing to your email list, purchasing products inside of your website. So for you to do that, you choose the view that you want to use. You go to goals, and over here you add a new goal. Now you have several options depending on what is the conversion that you want to happen. Let's say that I want to make when someone makes a payment inside of my website. And also you have submission, view schedule, media play, share, social connect, newsletter, sign up, and so on. Also you have custom. If any of these options over here before aren't the ones that you want, you can use custom. Then you just press continue. You can choose the name that you want for this goal. Let's just call it make a payment. It's not that relevant. Then type. You have several options. In this case, I'm going to choose destination. Once someone gets to, after they purchase my product and they go to my thank you page, that will be my conversion. That means that someone actually made the purchase inside of my website. So I'm going to choose destination. But also you have other goals depending on what you want to be performed inside of your website. So destination, continue, and this conversion will happen once someone goes to my thanks page. So you don't need to put the full URL, you just need to put the last extension from your URL page, which is just thanks. So it would be something like prositutorials.com, that small bar, and then thanks. That would be the page that would happen my conversion. In this case, I'm just going to select equal to. And also, if you have a funnel, you can also choose a funnel. That means that a funnel means that people need to go through several pages until the conversion happens. So you can choose funnel for this. And you just have the several pages that you would like people to go through so the conversion would happen. And then you just press save. And now I have this conversion on. Now let's go to reporting. After you have clicked on the reporting link, you are taken to this page called Audience Overview. Over here you have a nice graph, which later on you are able to see a lot of information about your visitors. Even though at the moment I don't have any kind of information over here because I just created this new view called testing 1. And it takes about 24 hours until I am able to see anything inside of my reporting. Later on, I'm going to explain all of these sections in full detail, but at the moment, the only thing I'm going to do is change to a new view where I can get some information. So I click over here on the top section in this small arrow, and you can see that I have accounts. Then I have properties, which are my website. So if I want to get the report from another website, I just need to select that website and then click on the view that I want to see my reporting. In this case, I just want from prositutorials.org, and then you can see the views that I have for prositutorials.org. So the one that I want is all website data. Now you can see with this view called all website data, I already have more information appearing inside of my reporting. Now this section on the top, which allows you to send email, export, add to dashboard, and shortcut. So if you want to, for example, send your report to a particular person or even to yourself, you can use this email option. The only thing that you need to do is you just select the email address that you want to send this report. You can choose a different title for your message if you want. Attachment, you can choose the type of file that you want to send as a report. And frequency, you can choose if you want to only send this report once, daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. When you select once, that means that you will only send this report one time to that person or even to yourself. But if you want, for example, weekly, you can see that you can choose the day of the week that you want to send this report. So let's say that I want to send this report every Wednesday. So I just select Wednesday, and then I can also choose the message that I want to send. So hey there, and then you just press send, and once you do that, you can see email successfully scheduled. You also have export. This option allows you to basically download your report to your computer if you want to see it inside of your computer. Add to dashboard. You can see that on the sidebar you have this section called My Dashboard. Honestly, it's not an option that I use much, but if you want to use this option, basically what this does is once you click on Add to Dashboard, this window pops out, and in this section you can select New Dashboard, and in this case I want My Dashboard, and you can see inside of My Dashboard I already have 3 widgets. And it depends, the sections that you can see over here depends on the page that you are inside. In this page I can choose the timeline to appear inside of My Dashboard, and also the table sections by language to appear inside of My Dashboard. And then I just press on Add to Dashboard. And you can see that I immediately go to my dashboard, and this is my dashboard inside of Google Analytics. You can use this page if you want to quickly get some basic information about your website and so on, instead of going to each little section that you can see in your sidebar, which might be quite time consuming if you do this often. So let's go back to overview. And shortcut, it really depends on the page that you want, but if you want to, you commonly go to a page a lot and you want to immediately go there and not waste much time trying to find it in your sidebar, you might use it as a shortcut. Let's say that I want my audience overview to be one of my shortcuts. I just choose this option, and you can see enter a name for this shortcut, and I just press OK. And you can see that now on shortcuts I have my audience overview. So I might be in another page, and if I want to quickly get access to my audience overview, I just click on this option. This sometimes is more, it's better if you are in a few pages deep with some really detailed information and you don't want to basically click on several pages to get to that information, you might use this shortcut option for that. So let's go to overview once again. Inside of your graph area, you have a few options that you can use, so you can change the information displayed inside of your graph. And at the moment, I'm able to see the number of sessions that I have for each particular day of the week. You can see that, for example, Saturday, September 24, I had 15 sessions. Then I have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And sessions is basically the same thing as visits inside of Google Analytics. At least it's the easiest way for me to explain exactly what is this. Also, you can change the information that you are seeing inside of your graph just by going to this small drop-down menu over here. And in this case, I have sessions, but let's say that I want to see page views. So I just select page views. And you can see that my graph changes automatically. So now I'm able to see the number of page views that I'm getting in each particular day. If I want, I can also compare this metric to another one. You can see that I have page views versus select a metric, and let's say that I want to compare it to the number of sessions that I have in each particular day. And you can see that now I have two different graphs. And once I have my mouse over one of these dots, I get the information for both, for my page views and also sessions. This is always a great way for you to compare two different metrics and see how well you are doing for each particular day. And if you want, you can also choose how you want to see this information. In this case, this is daily, but I can also choose hourly, weekly, and also monthly. But I typically like just to stick with daily. At least it's the way that I prefer to see my information inside of Google Analytics. Then you have on the top a calendar, which once you select, you can choose the date range that you want to see inside of your graph. In this case, it's going from September 2 to October 2 of 2016. So it's basically a month of information. But let's say that I just want to see from September 15 to October 2. What I do is, first I choose the box where I want to begin my date range, and then I go to the small calendar on the side and select a particular day where I want to start seeing my information. So September 15 to October 2, and now I just press apply. And you can see that my graph automatically changes. And also I can make a comparison to another date range. Let's say once I check this box right below, compare to, basically you do the same thing. You select where you want to start seeing your information. So let's say from September 2. And now I'm going to compare both date ranges and press apply. I still don't have much information inside of Google Analytics because I just installed Google Analytics inside of my ProStutorials website quite a while ago, just a few days ago. So I still don't have much information over here. Okay, so this is how you can compare information if you want to do this. And now let's go back and apply changes. So let's go right below. Here you can quickly see the number of sessions that you had during this date range, which is basically a month. Then you have the number of users, the number of page views in total that you had inside of your website. Then pages per session, basically for each visitor that you had inside of your website, the amount of pages that they viewed. Then I have average session duration, basically the amount of time that your visitor spent inside of your website. Then I have bounce rate, which I already explained previously. Bounce rate is when someone goes to your website and only views one page, then they leave. Then you have percentage of new sessions, basically the percentage of new visitors that went to your website. Then on the side you have this pie graph where you are able to see the percentage of new visitors that you had inside of your website and the percentage of visitors that went to your website once again. Then you can go right below here. You can quickly see the most common language that my visitors use. You can see that in first place, most of my visitors use English from the USA. If I want, I can also click on the country link so I can see where my visitors are coming from. You can see that in first place, I have most of my visitors come from the United States, then India, and so on. So it makes sense that most of my visitors use English from the USA because I'm getting the most visits from there. Then you have city, which allows you to see the cities that your visitors are coming from. The browsers that they are using once they access my website, they're using mostly Chrome. Their operating system, service provider. Then below you have for mobiles. So this is for mobiles. You can see the operating system that they are using when it comes to mobiles to access my website, service provider, and then screen resolution. Now another thing that you can do is once you go to one of these links, let's say to country, and if you want to get more information about the countries, so you want to get more information related to this, what you need to do is click on View Full Report. As you may see, once I go to this page, I get even more details about where my visitors are coming from. And it's important to notice that you can view this full report for anything that you want. It doesn't need to be just for locations, as in this case, it can be for browsers, it can be for the devices that your visitors are using, or whatever you want. So in this case, you can see that I have this map, and in this map I can see by the darker blue areas where I'm getting the most visits. In this case it's from USA, and below you have India. Then once I scroll down, I have this table with a lot of different information. I already explained most of these metrics over here, what exactly they mean. Even though if you want to get more details about each one of them, you can see that once I hover this question mark, a message appears right below explaining a bit about what each section means. So you can see for the United States, sessions or basically visits, I got 30 visits, then percentage of new sessions, and so on. But additionally, you also have information about your conversions. You can see the goal conversion rate, goal completions, and goal value. Especially if you have goals set in your website, you will get some extra information over here about that. If you go below and you want to see even more countries, in this case I have 25 rows, but if I want to see, for example, let's say 50, I just select 50 and I will be able to see 50. In this case I'm not able to see 50 because I don't have that amount in my website. You can also see that on the top you have these small links which allows you to be more specific about this information. You can see instead of countries, you can see by cities. You can see over here where I'm getting the most visits by cities. In this case from Lagos. And also you have a report below by cities instead of countries, as you saw previously. You can also do the same thing for continents and subcontinents. Another really important thing to notice is even though I click before view full report to go to this report over here, you can also go through the options that you have in your sidebar. You can see that at the moment under geo I have locations, and if you decide, you can also use this option over here to go to the same map that you can see here in this report. Another option that you have is the way that you want to view this information. So in this case I have a table of information, but if I want I can also see in GraphPy. Here you can basically see the same information, but in this case in GraphPy. You can see by percentage the countries that I'm receiving the most visits. So you can see that this blue over here is from the United States, And also I have other countries over here in this pie. But if I want, I can also easily see on this table basically the same information. And if I want, I can also see from the, in this case, it's going from the highest to the lowest amounts of views. But I can also click on this arrow so I can see from the lowest to the highest amounts of views. And I also can choose another dimension for this. In this case is sessions. But if I want, I can choose, for example, bounce rate. And you can see that it automatically changes the graph pie that I have. And bounce rate is one of those values that is extremely important for you to pay attention, because if you, by bounce rate, you can see if your content is engaging enough, if your visitors are able to find the type of content that they want inside of your website, or if your content is appropriate for a particular country or not. It might be a language barrier that's why you are having a high bounce rate for a particular country. So that's the type of information that you can get from bounce rate. Also, if you want, you can include another dimension over here in this section, and you have this same section in other views also. As you can see, you always have this section, and it allows you to include more dimensions so you can get even more information. Let's say that I want to go to Inquisition and also include sources to my table and also to my graph pie. This allows me to see where my visitors are coming from. So from the United States, I got 24 visits coming from Google. So basically they used Google search engine to find my website. And from India, you can see that I have 10 visits that are mentioned as direct traffic. Direct traffic may be someone who inserted my URL inside of their browser and went directly to my website, or someone found my link inside of an email newsletter or something like that, or even inside of an ebook. So that's what direct traffic is. And you can also see more information over here by including other dimensions. Let's get to another view. Here you can quickly see the performance that each country is having inside of your website. Then you have the comparison view. And lastly, you have the pivot view. Well, this last one allows you to see several metrics in the same table. So it allows you to see more information more easily. And for example, you have pivot metrics, you have sessions selected. And let's select another metric to see inside of my table. Let's say percentage new sessions. Now you can see, for example, from the United States, I got 24 visits that came from Google, so they used Google search engine to find my website. And from those 24 visits, 100% were new visits. I can also quickly see that I also got 6 visits from the United States that were direct traffic, meaning that they used my URL inside of their browser or something like that. And from those 6 visits, 66 something percent were new visits. So using this last view allows you to see this information rather quickly. So let's go back to the first view. Now, if you want to even drill down more and just focus on the details from a particular country, what you can do is click on one of these links. In this case, I'm going to click on the United States. And you can see that I get a map from the United States, and it allows me to see where I'm getting the most visitors based on each state. So you can see that I'm getting the most visitors from California, Tennessee, and then Florida. And once again, you have a table full of information, but in this case, based on each state from the USA. You can once again go and use these links over here, and you can go to city, metro, and so on. Also, if you want to quickly exclude all of the necessary information from appearing inside of your table, you can use this search box. So let's go back to region. And let's say that I want to exclude all of the states that have a bounce rate higher than 50%. So I click on advanced. I go to exclude. Over here where you can see region. I select summary and I choose bounce rate greater than, let's say, 50, and press apply. And you can see that I quickly can see all of the states that have a bounce rate of 50% or lower. This allows me to see which states are performing the best when it comes to bounce rate inside of my website. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important fields that you can find in Google Analytics sidebar. If you are starting out, I'm going to talk about the ones that you need to know. I'm not going in full detail about each little aspect that you can find inside of their tool because it may get quite overwhelming, the huge quantity of information that they have displayed here. But by knowing what I'm going to explain to you now, you can quickly assess the most vital information about your visitors. Okay, I already showed to you the overview report, which is this one. And if you still haven't noticed, this is under the audience section. And under the audience section, you have several other links. And here you can find the information about your visitors, such as their location, the browser they're using, if they're using desktop, mobile, their age, their gender, besides other types of information like that. In the overview report, also, you can click on one of these links so you can get more targeted information about each field. So let's go to demographics and click on overview. Here you can see reports about the age and also the gender of your visitors. And this information is important. For example, with the age, you can see if your advertisement is actually targeting the right age range, because sometimes you might have a product or a service that is better suited for a specific age range than another. Also, gender is important. For example, let's say that you have a website where you are receiving 80% female audience. So it's probably a good idea for you to adjust the design and also the content of your website to be more enticing for that audience. Then you have also separate reports for each one of them, such as age and also gender. Then you can go to geo, and under geo you can click on language and basically see this page, which I already showed to you previously, where you can see which is the most common language from your visitors. And once again, you can click on each link so you can get more targeted information. Also, you can go to location and basically see the same page which I showed to you previously, where you can get information about the location of your visitors. Then you can go to behavior and click on new versus returning. In this report, you can see the number of new visitors that you're receiving to your website and also returning visitors. Of course, when it comes to this, you always want to have a good number of returning visitors, because that means that they are going to your website to once again read more content or watch more videos, or depending on whatever you have inside of your website. That's always a good indicator. In engagement, you can see the amount of time that your visitors are spending inside of your website. For example, over here in 115 sessions, they spent between 0 to 10 seconds maximum. When it comes to this, typically you want people to spend the most time inside of your website, especially if you have a blog. I mean, if you have a squeeze page, it's quite different, but if you have a blog, you want people to be engaged inside of your website. Do you want people to spend time reading your content, watching your videos? That's always a good indicator. And also, by increasing the amount of time that people spend inside of your website, it also boosts your rankings inside of Google search engine, because it's one of those metrics that Google gives importance to. Then you have technology, and over here you can get information about browsers and also operating systems. In this report, you can see a lot of information about the browsers that your visitors are using when they access your website. For example, you can see that 97 sessions happened with Chrome. Now, what is important for you to see in this report is, for example, if you have more traffic than I have in your website, is, for example, if you have a lot of people coming to your website using Internet Explorer, but at the same time they have a huge bounce rate, it may mean that your website design is not well configured for Internet Explorer. So it's always a good idea for you to test it using Internet Explorer and see if your website is working well for that browser. Then you have network, and basically it allows you to see the internet that your visitors are using to access your website. Then you can go to mobile and click on overview. Here you can quickly assess the number of visitors that are using desktops, mobiles, and also tablets to go to your website. Then under it you have devices, and you can see the model of the devices that people are using to go to your website. Then you can go to user flow. In this page you can basically see how your traffic is flowing throughout your website. You can see, for example, this are the starting pages. These are the pages that my visitors first arrived to my website. Then I have first and second interaction, meaning that my visitors went to a first and also a second page inside of my website. So you can, for example, this is my front page, and I can click on this box, and you have several other options. You can use this one, which is highlight traffic through here. And basically I can see the traffic that is flowing throughout my front page. You can see that I got 12 sessions from the United States, 11 from India and other countries going to my front page. And once I over this box, you can see that I get also more information. You can see 29 sessions through traffic. That means that they went to other pages inside of my website. And 32 drop-offs. Perhaps these are sessions that went to my front page and just didn't find the content that they were expecting, so they left my website. Then you can see what exactly is happening in the other pages of your website. The reason why you want to use this user flow graphic is basically to see how your traffic is interacting throughout your website. Also, many times it's a good indicator to see if your traffic is easily navigating throughout your website. For example, if you see that one of your pages inside of your website, a lot of traffic is leaving, it might be because you have a poor navigation inside of your website. People aren't able to easily find the content that they want inside of your website. In the acquisition section, you can find all of the necessary information about how your visitors came to your website. So at the moment I am in the overview report, and here you can see in this graph pie, you can see the percentage of each traffic that I'm receiving to my website. For example, organic search traffic, well, this refers to all of the traffic that went to my website from the search engine. So for example, if someone goes to Google and they search for something, and in their listing they found one of my web pages and they enter, that is what we call organic traffic. Then you have direct traffic. This refers to all of the traffic that probably clicked on a link inside of an ebook to my website or in an email newsletter, or insert directly in their browser the URL to my website. Then referral traffic can be someone who clicked on a link to my website in another website besides mine. So for example, when you write a blog post for another website and you leave a link in that blog post and someone clicks on that link and they go to your website, that is what we call referral traffic. Now once you go right below, you can see that you have this table with some extra information about each source of traffic that you are receiving. And if you want more detailed information about each traffic, what you can do is just click on one of these links. So let's say that I want to see more about organic search traffic. In this graph, you can see the number of organic traffic that you are receiving on a daily basis to your website. You can also change this to weekly and monthly. And also you have other options pretty similar to the ones that you've already seen before. Below, you have a table of information related to your organic traffic. You can also see the search terms that people use to find your content. And you can quickly analyze this information. For example, you can see that someone went to the search engine, they wrote how to remove the Powered by WordPress on my website, and they found a web page in their listing related to this. So they went to my website, and you can see that average session duration of 0. So very probably this person entered into my website, or they didn't find the content that they intended and they left immediately. You can also see below that someone entered where to place privacy policy in WordPress inside of the search engine. They entered in a web page related to this inside of my website, and you can see that this visitor spent 12 minutes and 20 seconds inside of my website, which is pretty long, and also checked in one single session 2 pages inside of my website. So this visitor actually was pretty engaged inside of the content of my website. So you can quickly analyze and see if your organic traffic is actually finding the correct pages inside of your website. You can see if your pages are well optimized or not, and if your content is appropriate for these searches. You can also get good ideas of search terms by the phrases that people are using inside of the search engine. You also have this value that says not provided. Well, these are most likely people who have a Google account and are logged in. And once they are logged in, all of the searches that they do inside of Google are private. So you cannot see the search terms that they actually used. So now let's go back to overview. Now let's do the same thing to analyze our direct traffic. So we go to this page, we click on this link. And now I have another graph, but in this case for my direct traffic. And below, I have this table of content, and you can see that I can check the landing pages that my direct traffic went to. So I can analyze where my direct traffic is entering into my website, and also I can see the actions that they are performing inside of my website. You can also do the same thing for refer traffic, but in this case you can see in this page you can see the website that this person was before going to my website. And if you want, you can click on this link. And once you go over here, you can click on this small square and you can get an idea, or you can actually see the website that this person was before going to mine. So this seems like a search engine of some kind. So they were able to find my website and go over there. Then you have source and medium, and basically this allows you to see where your organic traffic is coming from. You can see that all of my organic traffic is coming from Google. Then I have direct, which says none because it never mentions where my direct traffic is coming from. It can come from an ebook, email, newsletter, and so on, but it doesn't mention that. Then I have my referral traffic. As you can see, it says referral, and also has a mention to the web page that this person was before going to mine. Then you have lastly referrals. And in referral, this is pretty much the same page which I already showed to you. And you can also click on these small links in the top so you can get more information about your referral traffic, such as the landing page that they went when they went to your website. In the behavior section of Google Analytics, you can get information about the type of interaction that your visitors are having inside of your website. For example, at the moment I am in my overview report, and in this graph I am able to see the number of page views that I'm getting in each particular day of the week inside of my website. Also, you have other options which are pretty identical to the ones that I already explained before. Below you can see the total number of page views that I got during this period of time to my website. Also unique page views, average time on page, bounce rate, and also percentage exit. Now once you go below, you have some pretty interesting information. You can see that I have the page option selected, and I'm able to see several pages that I have inside of my website. In this case, this is the URL extension of this post. And you can see the number of page views that I got for each particular page. So in this case, the most popular page that I have in my website is my front page, which got 77 page views. Then I have this second page, which is a post inside of my website, which got 31 page views. This information is pretty good because this allows you to see which are the most popular posts inside of your website. And by using that information, you can get an idea of the type of content that your visitors like reading inside of your website. And most likely, it's always a good idea for you to continue writing similar content to that one. If you want, you can also click on page title. And in this case, you can see the title for your pages. This information is pretty similar to the one that you saw before, but in this case, it's just the titles of your pages. If you want, you can also click on search term, and over here you can see the search terms that people inserted inside the search box that you have in your website. For you to be able to see this information, you need to have this option activated, and I showed to you how you could do that pretty much in the beginning of this video. So now let's go to site content and click on all pages. In all pages, you are able to get extra information about the pages that you have inside of your website. Once I scroll below, you can see that I have this table of content, and you have a few new dimensions. You have, for example, interests. This allows you to see the number of visitors that enter through a specific page inside of your website, and also percentage exit. It allows you to see the percentage of visitors that left from a specific page in your website. And if you want, you can also click on page titles, so you can see the titles of each page that you have. And also you can click on each link so you can get even more focused information about this particular page. So it's basically identical to what I already showed to you before. Then you can go to content drill down. This allows you to see the directory files inside of your website, and you can quickly see which sections inside of your website are performing the best. Then you also have landing pages. These are the pages that your visitors first landed inside of your website, or basically the entry pages inside of your website. So in this table of content, you can get information about that. Then you have exit pages, and as the name states, these are the pages where your visitors left inside of your website. Now let's go to speed site, and let's click on overview. In this report, you are able to quickly find information about the uploading time of your website. This is always great information because it allows you to see if this is something that you need to improve inside of your website or not. If you want, you can also click on speed suggestions. And in this page, you can see once you go below, you have over here several links. And once you click on them, Google gives some suggestions about how you can improve the performance of this specific page in your website. Even though if you want to learn more about how you can improve the uploading time of your website, just click on the thumbnail that you can see on the video screen so you can watch my other video where I explain this in great detail. Anyway, over here you can always get a few ideas which might help you. Now in site search, let's go to overview. In this page, you get a report about the searches that people are doing inside of your website. And once again, for you to see this information, you need to have this option activated. And lastly, in the conversion section, if you have any goals set inside of your website, this can be, for example, someone going to a specific thank you page because they purchased a product or subscribe to your email newsletter or whatever. It's in this section where you can get all of the necessary information to see if your conversions are actually working for you, their efficiency, and so on. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed my video tutorial about Google Analytics and that you have learned a lot. If you have any questions, just leave in the comment section below. And also make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can receive my weekly video updates where I talk about WordPress, internet marketing, and a lot more. So stay there, stay tuned with Pro Tutorials, and bye!
I said a little